What's up, everyone? This is Sir Rule 1986 signing in here for another YouTube video. Today, we are going to be covering the Rising event 6.2 patch notes. Preliminary have actually been released, and surprisingly, a couple days early because they usually don't release those until the day of maintenance going down. Joined here with my good buddy Assassin. Say hello.
Hello, everyone.
uh
Glad to be here.
which longtime buddy, streamer friend, and such like that. I will put links to his channel down in the comments below, so please give him a follow if you haven't yet. But starting off here, I'm going to put my little content warnings out here. This is rated LI for literally insane because House of Insanity right here. Yeah, but also rated R for content and language because we will have some content. We will have some colorful language flipping the fuck out here because we're both fucking excited. God damn it!
Yep.
So let me go ahead and take the ratings down here. First thing we're going to highlight on is going to be the Rising event that's coming out on the 27th. I mean, we're still finishing up the Midsummer Festival, which if you haven't got into it, the items are really, really good. The glamours are really nice, and also the bonfire too, which I haven't set the bonfire down yet, but and the way it looked like in the pictures, it's huge. And well worth the 5,000 gold. 5,000 gold, which 5,000 gold versus you have to buy it off the log station. Buy a few of them. That's what I will say.
True.
Ah.
I actually just did it a couple of days ago, and I actually was so happy that they actually put the course back in, and it made me so happy to have to do that again and try to get to the top of the jumping puzzle. And
I
get
haven't gone all the
frustrated.
way. I haven't gone all the way to the top, and unfortunately, I
Oh.
have only done for the factor of the quest because try to get Ala into doing it, and she's like, "No, not even for the factor of just the regular jumping puzzle part that you have to do
Yeah.
for the quest."
Right.
But getting back on topic with the Rising event, so last year I think it was the Brave New Yustola, was it?
I believe it was last year we got. I thought it was an umbrella. Was it a
Oh
parasol that
yeah,
we got?
yeah, because of the factor of the parasols and everything coming out. But
Yeah.
yeah, we had the umbrella last year. The year before was the Brave New
Was the
Yustola.
Astrola. Yeah.
But this year we're getting Emmett Silk. That's going to stand there and snap. Snap away, snap away,
minion.
snap away, snap away. Everyone's going to have this new favorite minion out, and they're going to probably be standing around Olda and snapping with it. So
that's why
get your snaps on, my friends. Get your snaps on.
That's why I got the background music on for that reason, because I'll be in Limps and all I hear is a snappy milk going off.
All right, that goes on thing. So going into the starting of the coverage of the 6.2 stuff, and they've also announced, which was actually surprising, with the factor of the maintenance. Normally with big content patches like this, it's usually 24 hours. This one is not. It's only a standard maintenance, which I'm actually surprised with how much they're releasing. You got Island Sanctuary, you got new MSQ with the new raids. You also have, and we'll go into more detail in here in a little bit with those. I mean, there's just so much. The Adventurer plates fully being released and getting out of beta. I'm surprised they're not doing 24-hour maintenance. Aren't you?
I'll be honest. I was actually a little bit surprised too that there's so much content compared to 6.1. Like just to do the duty support system in 6.1, they said they needed like a full day of maintenance just to implement it. But it looks like maybe it's because they're not doing the full Heaven's Ward and post ARR this time around. They're only doing a certain few. Maybe it doesn't need them full time. But yeah, given what you said, everything that they're putting in, it doesn't make sense for them to do that. But unless they either implemented it all earlier, it's all set and ready to go.
Yeah.
So either that or they're getting more ready to be able to put more content into patches and they are prepared to handle the maintenance moving forward. But it was a surprise to me too that it's a standard maintenance versus a full day maintenance.
Yeah, because normally we've had, even hell with the factor of 6.15, we had a 24-hour maintenance because of the factor of the data center trouble. But then they had to disable it because they had problems with it. In which then we followed up with another short maintenance to come up and fix the data center travel. And that was 6.18, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
And because hell, we also had problems with the release of the lottery system with the housing, and so fuck that.
Actually, we'll get into a little. I know I'm jumping the gun here, but we'll get into that a little bit later because
Yeah.
there is a part of the patch notes about that. But yeah, just yeah.
Yeah, I did a quick read through, but the good old 6.2 buried memories. Well, buried
Let me
memory, but yeah.
Let me just say the cover art is absolutely fucking amazing.
Oh
I
yeah,
love the art.
especially with the factor of you have uh La Habrea unmasked,
Yep.
and even in the trailer they show him crushing his mask, and that's going to be fun to see. Ha! In that quest. So starting off, we're going to have the new MSQ, which actually went ahead and counted already, and there's going to be 9 MSQ going straight up, and which we're apparently traveling all the way to the 13th realm. I told you about this, that we were possibly going to the void.
Yeah, you were right about that now because now after seeing the trailer, I'll be just honest with you. I have a friend of mine that I shared the trailer with, and his reaction to that trailer was basically like he was like, "Whoa, whoa, 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 whoa!" Goes, "I am getting serious Final Fantasy IV vibes from this. This is absolutely amazing." And I gifted him the game. This was over the weekend, so now
Nice.
he's like excited to finally play and finally get into this game now because after seeing that trailer, he's now hyped to get to the end game
Yeah, yeah.
because of it.
Before we go any further, as you know, as I've said, my things that I'm actually looking forward to, even though some of it's not being released in this part, it's going to be like
Mhm.
released back in 6.25.
Mhm.
My favorite things that I'm looking forward to, and I'm actually surprised because a lot of people were saying it wasn't coming until 6.25, which my top one, Island Sanctuary.
Yeah,
I knew it was actually
that's
going to. It's actually going to come out in point two, not the point five like everyone else was saying, because point five was reserved for the variant and Criterion dungeons. Oh,
yeah. I think originally there was a point in the live layer where they did say it was coming in 0.25, but I think either the developer team was focusing on more on Island Sanctuary and they wanted to get that obviously out earlier. They were able to push it up, and then
yeah,
what really got me was they leaked it early on the website. The website said point 0.2 instead of 0.25, and it's like, well, hold on a minute. And then they had the live letter just now, and it was like, yeah, now it's coming in point 0.2. And it was like, I think he wanted that because obviously, out of everything in this patch, Island Sanctuary is the one thing everyone wants.
yeah.
So
Plus
getting
also,
that out earlier.
hell. Uh, I'm sorry for interrupting you on this, but
Oh, you're fine.
6.2 with Island Sanctuary, you get this huge ass island basically for free. The only prerequisite
Yeah.
for it is complete, and we'll get into it. And which actually it's kind of a funny note. The only way of getting into it is just completing the full MSQ.
Yeah.
So it's just like you get this big ass island for free. Where if you win in the lottery system, you get this tiny ass little house for
Mhm.
3 million, or at least the base price.
And I mean, the other thing I like about it is that it's not one per account. It is one per character, everyone. And
Yeah,
that's a big, big thing. That means if you have, let's say, a full subscription, that if you have a standard subscription, you have up to 40 characters on your account, which means you can have up to 40 islands.
yeah.
Let's just imagine that's pretty insane that they're giving everyone this free content that's basically like its own separate game within 14.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and especially for the factor of how much, but we'll hop into that here in a little bit because it is one of the
Yeah.
first things that actually are highlighted in the patch in the preliminary patch notes here. But yeah, we get the new MSQ quest as well as the new Chronicle of Era, the next 4 raids within the Pandemonium cycle, and we left off with beating up with. There's no better way to put it. Beating off a vampire. I
Glad.
we got to punch him in the fucking balls. So yeah, um, but looking forward to that. Because of the factor that they have this awkward looking tree, and then they also have this awkward looking beast and whatnot. Be interested to see what the boss fights are actually like, because the hippo fight was kind of hard, and so was the
Yeah,
Phoenix. I mean, the Phoenix was just
that was a
interesting.
bitch. I that was a bitch, and I couldn't even see what was going on my screen. I was like, "Wait, were we supposed to go out?" And the AOE's were the same color as the lighting. I couldn't even tell the difference, and I was like, "What the hell?" But
Well, that's
I
actually
think,
one thing too that I've seen that they're actually working. It's a little bit later in the
yeah,
patch notes, but they're working on they're still working on the colorblindness improvements.
yeah, and I mean the thing is that like one of the things I liked about the setup for this and the trailer, and if you guys haven't seen it, definitely check out the trailer. If you see the trailer for this patch, this Pandemonium, I have serious like dark fantasy. We're talking Bloodborne vibes from that trailer for the bosses because you do get a preview of the raid bosses from the trailer. Um, it seems like this is more so going in depth in terms of making sure that these raid bosses are unique. They aren't creatures like, for example, or bosses we've seen before. Um, so I like the fact that they're adding variety and really uniqueness this time around to the bosses themselves.
Yeah, because you also end up with not having say cookie cutter mechanics. Is that
Right.
you don't and it'll be interesting to see what it is, what the mechanics will be, because what you have in a lot of MMOs cookie cutter mechanics. You have
Sure.
one boss fight that you have, say, all the way back in the beginning of the game, but then you see the same mechanics coming out at what would be, say, the max level end game boss, and it's just like, give me something new instead of doing the same repeated boss fight over and over.
Right. Like if every time you see a Cyclops as a boss in a dungeon, you're like, okay, I know exactly the type of mechanics he'll probably do, and then it's like, oh yeah, it turns out he does the same mechanics. Like
Yeah,
it gets tiring if you played this game for so long, like I have or Cyril here has. If you guys have played it for that long, you'll start to figure out, oh, I see this boss, and here's the type of mechanics it will probably do, and you're probably about 85% right,
yeah, and
like
plus
before
also
you even
say like
start.
one of the most repeatable ones. You got the Cyclops. You also got the Chimeras. The Chimeras
Yeah.
here, in out, in out, in out, and hell, and you just memorize that pattern. You're good to go for Palace of the Dead,
Right.
because especially for a solo mission going all the way up to floor 200, you have to face a whole entire 10 floors with Chimeras.
Mhm.
So you got to memorize in out, in out, in out, in out. So.
Yeah.
But oh boy. Okay, getting into this next part. The evil boss. I still say she's going to be the final boss of Endwalker, because now she's including the Sky Pirates. At first, we were going back into post AAR. We were Alpha Nodes bitches and fetching everything. And now we're Tataru's
Mhm.
bitches again. So much for the Warrior of Light. So much for getting out into your own adventure. No, we're still chasing stuff for the evil bitch Tataru.
I'll be honest. I did find that it's funny that they decided to implement it with the Sky Pirates because I, for one, want to see a part where like she meets Cat Sith at the first time, and it will just be hilarious because they've never actually met during the Sky Pirates scene, and I'm
Yeah,
just imagining her being like a Rowena moment. It's like a talking cat. This will fetch a high price. It's Charlie.
that's just also like me and Al over not getting off of into New World for a little New World tangent. Me and Ali got to the quest line where we met a talking wolf, and we were like, a talking wolf, and literally they put in the factor of the quest line text. You're a talking wolf. Yes, I'm a talking wolf. You fucking sons of bitches.
I think
Uh,
I think this whole series is going to be interesting because like I wonder if this will tie in at some point. I think it will
yeah.
more so. I think there is going to be a tie-in with the Tataru's Grand Endeavor to Hildebrand.
Yeah,
I
well, and
I
it's
thought
also
about
for the
that.
factor too of how going into the Hildebrand quest, and how this one's actually going to be tying into the factor of, I mean, just seeing from the trailer or whatnot, Hildebrand's going to the moon,
Yeah.
and I'm always seeing the Lolapritis dance. Please don't involve the Lolapritis with the Mambo. No. But that's for more
Yeah.
coverage when that stuff comes out in 6.25. So
Yep. Yeah, we gotta wait a little bit more for that, but that's I mean, to be honest with you, 6.2 is so big. It
yeah.
could be like its own expansion in of itself with the amount of content they're adding. But this is like where the whole thing of Yoshi P saying Square Enix is, quote unquote, sparing no expense.
hmm
And we're seeing the fruits of that play out with this patch, for example, as the first time they do that.
Yeah, we also got a Tales of Newfound Adventure coming out with the Radiant Scout on. I didn't see the live letter, so I'm not really sure what this is one about because it was actually still under the tractor of the Tattoos uh Grand
This wouldn't
Adventure.
be this wouldn't be tied to the new game plus then. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's actually I read this early. I didn't see this part.
Yeah, because
Huh.
it's like players must first complete the main scenario, question mark, question mark, question mark. It's from a Radiant Scout, not a ton. Tales of a Newfound Adventure. So I see
A
what looks so
special
forward to
side
that.
quest.
Yeah,
It's
special
like a
side
special
quest.
side quest that they're adding in. Yeah. Oh,
Another thing too that they keep on saying, they're gonna it's no longer gonna be called Beast Tribe Quest. It's going to be called Tribal Quest. But
I
yet
don't
they
care.
said that with the fact of the release of the Elephant People. It not being racist, I just don't want to pronounce it when slip of tongue on a costume. But they still had showing up in the floating text when you ranked
Yes.
up. Beast Tribe ranked up.
Yes. But it
What?
looks like but
I
if you
thought you
look
were
at the
going to be
text
racist
here,
anymore.
I think they heard us when we first saw that because now it says in accordance with this change, adjustments have been made to various texts throughout the game.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
think it's been changed now. No more laughing at that or making memes. It's done. That's it. It's over.
It's just like, what the fuck? I thought you weren't going to be racist anymore, but apparently you still put it in there. Um,
That
the
one
main,
intern forgot to do his job and then it didn't make it in the patch cycle.
yeah, yeah. Main scenario quest updates have been
Yeah.
revamped in accordance with the changes of various dungeons and trials. Certain quests have been revised. These adjustments will not affect the overall story for players progressing through A Realm Reborn. If you're currently undertaking a quest in A Realm Reborn, please refer to the duty list or journal. Blah 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 blah. So they're doing with the factor of the changes coming up in Heaven's Ward, even if it's small little tiny bits, especially at this point in the release, they're also changing up because they're also redoing Thornmarch's fight, the Mughals, and how that fight plays out. So I mean, coming up with the factor of the DD support system, and this one probably going into being one of the things going to be a solo play. Is it going to be a solo play instance? Is it going to be still part of an 8-man raid? Find out.
Well, I thought they said that this one was a single instance. This is
Oh, they are okay. Yeah,
yeah.
I wasn't too sure because, like I said, I missed the live letter, and I
Okay.
just browsed through some of the slides, the ones that were most likely interesting to me. So I was kind of
Okay.
making want to do a video of it or not. So I was just like, I'm a little bit late on the curve, so I'm trying to do it, make up
No,
for
no
it per
problem.
se.
Yeah, they did announce this that this was actually shocking. They were changing like you said, Thorn March was going to be revised
Yeah,
to make it easier for new players to go in there. But also they said Steps of Faith was no longer going to be an A-man, it was going to be a single instance.
kind of like with
So
Laha Brea's fight.
right. It feels like to me, I will not be surprised by this as well. This was actually something I've talked with a few people about, and they actually have an interesting opinion on this too. Um, is that a lot of people think that the trials in the previous MSQs from the previous expansions in ARR are actually going to be changed to the 4-man format.
Uh,
Um, which I find rather curious because maybe that's how they plan to implement the
I
duty
would
support for the
see,
trials.
I would see for the factor, say take down take them down to 4-man instances. Well, actually, you already have them 4-man instances on the normal modes. And then you have where it goes to 8-player in hard modes and then extremes, but you have to keep the extremes as 8-mans, even
Right.
though you can easily, when you get 90, you can easily solo them. So undersized and go right straight through and blow it up in 30 seconds. I mean, hell, unless you're a summoner like you, overpowered motherfucker, and just blow it up with a Bahamut. Boom.
Yeah, I mean, like, I totally get that, but it's like I think it's the best way moving. Like, for example, in Heaven's Ward, you have Bismarck and you have Ravana.
Yeah.
I feel like those types of fights don't need to be 8-man going through the story. They can be 4-mans just to go through the MSQ, but then it's like the extremes obviously stay the same. They're still the usual 8-mans. And maybe that's something that they might do in the future. We'll have to see how this plays out.
Mm-hmm.
But that's for a topic for later on in the next expansion. But I feel like that's something to definitely keep in mind is that they could be pushing to, instead of doing 8-man trials, because they said it takes a lot of resources, it might be moving to 4.
Going to the factor of solo play, of
Yeah.
adding into favoring solo players to get into the new audience and stuff, taking it down to 4-man. That way you can go and bring in NPCs around the time of the story that you're at
Right.
to clear off those duties. Because, I mean, hell, you already got that in some of the, like I said, we had the introductory
Mm-hmm.
primals in AAR. They're all 4-mans. So you get hot, until you get up to the 8, till you get up to the hards and extremes, you don't really get the 8-man settings until then. So you can bring in just the NPCs to help you out. Because it'll also be interesting to see how that plays out. Especially say, like you mentioned, Bismarck. One of Bismarck's mechanics is got to keep the two separate.
Right. And if you have one tank, it's kind of like, oh boy.
Yeah. You got to burn one down, unless I know the buff really doesn't matter that much in normal as it does in the extreme, but you don't really want those two still to get together because you still also want to get a feel and practice for bumping up to extreme readiness if you want to actually play it to where you actually have to do the mechanics and syncing it and experiencing how it was back in Heaven's Ward such.
True. Yeah, I think it's interesting to just keep in mind to see how that plays out. But it's like,
Yeah.
it's one of the things I've always wondered is like, they wanted to push this vision of having it completely solo the whole entire MSQ, and it's like the hurdle now is not the dungeons, it's the 8-man
Trials.
story
Yeah.
trials. So how are they going to do that? Are they going to keep it 8-man, or are they going to move to 4? Are they going to do? I think resource wise, given the duty support system is done, because I have alts that I've ran through ARR now with the duty support, it's just as good as the trusts. It's really well done. I think they've pretty much got it honed to a point where they can do this moving forward, and it's implemented as it should.
Speaking about that from the trailer, if you've noticed, when you go and do the vault with the duty support system, you can bring Hashafont.
I will say this, everyone: if you don't, if you plan to do the story with other people and do the dungeons and queue with other people, please, if you've not gone through the story yet, it will pay off. Trust me. Just give Hoshifat that 20 minutes of fame in the dungeon, in the vault, and do the duty support. He will not regret it. That's all I'll say.
Heroes wear a smile. Sorry, spoilers. But dialing back 100-fold. The following adjustments have been made to the Return to Ivalice quest. So they're changing. They're changing up where you pick them up at. So apparently, the regress used my power, my pleasure, my pain has been changed to the City of Lost Angels, and it's the Wandering Domiturge.
Yep.
And yeah, just easily picking it up. I'm guessing they're also making changes. This is just me guessing. They're also making changes where if people want to go back and relive this, then they're making it probably a little bit easier to, instead of having to do every single side quest within the blimp to get it to New Game Plus.
Actually, yeah, if you scroll down, there's actually a little bit in piece about that as far as the New Game Plus piece is that
Okay.
they've
Undertaking the quests are currently my power, my pleasure, playing New Game Plus will advance to the next quest. Players who have advanced are currently undertaking the quest in bad place must temporarily exit New Game Plus. Okay.
Yeah, so the requirements for unlocking the chapter New Game Plus no longer is the side quest in bad taste. It's now just doing Orb on Monastery. So basically, once you finish the actual raid, you
Because
unlock.
I do remember you saying something
Yep.
about that. You bitching about that. It's
Yes.
like you have to do every single side quest in there. And I'm just like I'm just sitting back here. I'm just like they'll change it. Just wait. They'll change it. We know they will.
Yeah. Yeah. Now they did. Now they made it easier. So when somebody goes through it, you only have to do the blue quest technically to unlock the new game plus. The side quest is there still. The only one that's not is I think they say here the making bread and walk on by are no longer side quests in there.
Yeah. And apparently here an eighth nest shard has been been added for the High Crucible of Alakami has been added to Razatan. So that's
Yeah,
going to
that
the
was
Alchemist
interesting.
area, which is actually interesting because you do uh and I haven't really fully gone into it, but you do visit that quite a lot. And the closest Aethernet shard is the big Aethernet shard, and you still have a mile of ways to walk.
Yes.
So
Yeah,
that'll be a nice addition to
I
traveling
wonder
over.
if we have to automatically go unlock it or if it's automatically unlocked if we unlock
Probably
the
we'll have to walk
Aethernet.
over there. That's my guess. Is probably walking over there, but hell, that's an easy walk. I mean, just pop
Yeah.
sprint. You'll be there in within 30 seconds. Um,
I like
that
that though
this
that
is the
they
one thing
decided to do that.
I was kind of laughing at because I was one of these kind of people back in the previous expansion exploiting this. Players can no longer collect items as disciple a hand or land from certain fates.
You could do that?
Uh huh. What happened? Okay, if you know how they changed back in Shadowbringers that gatherers automatically get that stealth and you can't be seen by someone 10 levels ahead behind you if you're 10
Right.
levels above. So actually they can't see you within the period of 10 levels above or below. So you could go literally as a gatherer and go to fates that literally you just had to pick stuff up off the ground, gather all that if you didn't have to level sync, of course. And gather all that and turn them in. So you can basically go to Ultima Thule and literally complete 66 quests for the continuous fates and not have to worry about fighting a single enemy. They're
Wow.
nerfing it.
Wow. And it took them this long to wow. That's actually surprising to be honest. That would be something you would pick up right away, but like I didn't even know about that.
It looks like also I got to finish my fate grind because new items available from certain gemstone traders. So
I expect a special mount or something is in there or something for that.
it's usually triple. What they usually do is triple target cards, minions, and stuff related to the zone per se.
Okay.
Um, reward
That's
and
nice though.
yeah, and seeing also new glamour items coming out possibly still, and I didn't see them in here. But regards to Excitotron 6000 new map stuff coming, yay!
Yay.
Has been adjusted as well as bumped down to the accomplishment maps, the solo maps. So you're gonna have the stuff that came out in 6.0 with the treasure maps, some of that stuff being bumped over into the regular maps, making the regular maps, solo maps, a little more valuable per se.
Yep.
Because you had that same thing too back in when they released all of this. They had stuff that came out in the main patch. Then they 2 patches later on they bumped that stuff down there. So yeah, it's nice to see them actually keeping this up. Grain companies and free companies, new charge symbol options have been added for company crest. The following adjustments have been made to subaquatic voyages. New areas and items have been added. The maximum submersible rank has been increased from 95 to 100. Have you been playing around your company workshop? No.
I've actually been working on the company workshop recently, trying to do different things and trying to figure out the submarines. Um, but we're still like really early in trying to be able to get all that stuff. But it's good that they're still making this a thing as far as expanding these systems, but also um, I want to see if they add something else rather than just airship a submarine. I don't know what it would be, but if they add a third mode as well, so you can do like all of them. But we'll have to see.
Yeah. Coming up next is housing. To address the recent issue
Yay.
of housing lottery system, an NPC by which players can may voluntarily return the deposit they were accidentally refunded has been added. So
I don't
basically,
know.
you can go voluntarily if you want a house in their little screw up. You can basically go there and say, "Here, you can take my gold," or you can just say, "Screw you, fuck you, I'm keeping my gold, my gil." Sorry, not gold, gil.
I
That
will be honest with you. It's like this whole thing is like I don't know if this is admission to be like we fixed the issue. However, the issue may still persist in some spots. So here's an NPC to fix the issue if it comes up. Like, I feel like this lottery system is one of the big pains right now of the game since it came out that everyone is
yeah, and
time and
especially on
time
the
again
higher
we've talked
pop,
about.
especially on the higher pop servers where you don't have enough housing for the player base that wants personal
Right,
housing. Um,
right.
because I mean, hell,
I think it's
I looked over I looked over on Balmung's little site that they have for housing,
yeah.
Discord, and there's literally only two houses remaining, and that's actually after 2 weeks of all plots being full again.
Yeah, that's
They need to bring back auto housing demolition. It's
I
still
think
turned
that's
off.
one. I think that's one, but I also think you have to have a balancing thing where,
Oh.
for example, Balmog, you can't just have 20, what were we up to, 24 districts. You can't have 24 wards just for Balmog. You need like 50. But
Well, it's
my
just like also
server,
going back into it's just like going back into the vector of doing like an instance type wards, and you still
yeah,
keep open the factor of that you have a mixture of medium, larges, and smalls. Uh, but once say all 24 have been filled, you see the symbol for 25.
right.
Then you see the symbol for 26 once that one fills up, and so on and so forth. And that's instance solved right there. Because I mean, they originally did that with the apartment system. That once the ones filled up, they released more, and that had a cap to it. Yes, but at least you had more options for people to at least get an apartment.
Yeah, and I think what they could even do to make it even better for people, to make it more competitive, is they don't tell you what that cap is because it's different per server. So, for
Yeah.
example, you might have, let's say, 800 houses on Balmog, but on my server, it might only be 600.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't see until you reach the cap. Oh, you can't get any more. Like
Yeah.
they go based off of the balancing of the servers. Um, that could be a way of doing it so that this way there's no competitive advantage really because you don't know how many are actually tied to your server.
Yeah. So and also more design stuff has been added in from the furnishing contest from 2019. Still working 3 years later, and they still got new stuff from 2020 and 21, from 20, from 21, and also this year too. So they're still working in 2019. When are we going to see most of the stuff that's coming out? And it's like, ugh. People
You
already
brought
got
that
their
up in your
prizes and
last
whatnot.
video.
What?
In your last video, you brought that up exactly.
Yeah,
You were
yeah.
like bringing that up, like when are we going to see the weapons design and everything? And I think that's one of the things because there is a weapon design that won this year.
Yeah.
It was the machinist weapon that I really liked, and I'm just sitting here like, oh, I need a level machinist for this thing. But I'm sitting here like, is that going to come like
Is it
three,
going to
four
come
years from
from?
now?
Is it kind of going to come with the relic system weapons?
Yeah,
Because we haven't seen any of that yet. We probably won't see those, at least what the base design will look like until 6.25. We're
right.
release of that live letter and patch notes. But yeah, going on, you got the outside bamboo wall. Then
That's cool,
uh,
actually.
finally, they released another stained glass window. A circular one, just a circular one, but it's a lot better because actually you got the you got the big archway doors that you have in Heaven's Board
Yep.
ones, and you also have the imitation glass pane square, and now we get a circular one. So people that are liking that stuff, go right ahead. But one thing that we actually need to burn, and please, if developers are watching this, get rid of that picture of Tataru, please. Evil incarnate.
Actually, it's not just Tataru that's being added. They added so there's a if you go back, there's a slide in the live letter where they showed off other furniture. And there's actually portraits now for a lot of NPCs. Like, for example, there is an Estola portrait that
Yeah.
will, for example, be added in as well.
Nice.
But one of the big things I like is I love having the background wallpaper of Coastal del Sol. I
Oh
saw that
yeah,
and I'm like,
the
yeah,
farmerscape, because it's actually in here and it's showing it. You have your. I actually do love the farmerscapes because they have a nice variety of them.
yep,
My two favorite ones are the Aurora and the Blue Moon, and
yeah,
put that in some of your housing design.
yep.
So
Yeah,
you also got
this
another
one is really good.
damaged. Sorry, going on. Uh, Still got plenty more to cover. We're
Yeah,
only quarter way through the page.
sort of the way. Yeah, there's
Uh,
a lot.
yeah, there's a lot. Then you also have new equestrian rolls. Then you also have more damaged Ishgard stuff. A new tent. This one actually doesn't look like a teepee from the steps. That's the good thing. Yeah, got new flower seeds. Who grows flowers, anyways? A mechanical fish for the aquariums. How does that work out?
I actually thought that was a fish earlier when I saw it, and then I had to really zoom in, and I'm like, wait a minute, that's a mechanical one. That's not a real fish. What the fuck?
They got a dwarfin fish coming into the tanks, people.
I bet you get it in Lakeland. I bet you that's where you get it, is near the Beast Tribe. Oh, sorry, Tribal Quest.
Lakeland or in Calusia.
Yeah,
Because Calusia is where the actual dwarf tribes
dwarves
are,
are.
and they have a couple rivers going through there.
Yeah.
So now the following for the gold saucer changes. We're just going to go quickly through this because
Mhm.
uh, 3 list gates will out times below every hour. On the hour, cliffhanger, Air Force One, leap of faith, the fall, leap of faith, the vertical one. Hourly every 20 minutes, slices right, cliffhanger, anyway the wind blows. That's actually not different than what they had before. Hourly 40 minutes, Air Force One, anyway the wind blows, and leap of faith. So they've changed how often actually going from this, because you literally had you had literally pop on it's be sitting in there for Cold Saucer when I was farming it. You literally had almost every single time it was either your two choices were slices right or leap of faith. Slices right or leap of faith. They finally made air anyway the wind blows come back up more often, and also less slices right, and still have two popping up of the leap of faith, but you have the different varieties instead of always being the falling sitting in Nim. So yay for
That's good.
those
At least they had
changes.
the variety. So
Yeah. And especially for bringing back for people that are farming, let's say go for the achievement or anyway the wind blows, you have now 2 chances of that coming back instead of waiting an hour each time
yeah.
just to see, oh, it slices right again. Okay, bye. Registration for the Gate of Leap of Faith has reduced from 10 to 8 minutes. That's surprising. Instant portraits now be related at the beginning of the Dome and Mahjong. So, yay, you can throw Mahjong tiles at people's faces with your thing, or have your loot poses be shown.
I still need to learn how to play Mahjong.
I don't even touch that shit.
Yeah.
So, yeah. New triple try guards have been added, and also new prizes using NGP. Yay, what are we going to get? Are we going to get another mount, or are we getting another glam?
Yeah.
Oh, this is going to be
we
the
get to
long-winded
part.
topic. This is the next part. This is my excitement part. Island Sanctuary.
Yeah. And notice what it says there. It's not 6.x only, it's 2.x, which is why this is kind of a little bit.
Yeah. Which the funny thing is, when I was looking over trying to get thoughts, is that you need to clear out the MSQ.
Yep.
To get it, but the quest is available at level 1, but it won't pop up until you get that. My question is, because we talked a little bit about this before too in private conversations, that is there a possibility, and a lot of people are also theory crafting this too, is from what I've talked to other people about, that are they going to give the option of, hey, you can do AAR all the way up to Endwalker for 1 through whatever the cap level is, or you can start off from 7.0 content and go on from there to level yourself up. So that makes me wonder, what are they going to do with this, especially having this coming out to be a level 1 quest?
Interesting. So, in other words, kind of making it so that because of the MSQ grind, making it so that because it's kind of like a new storyline, for example, with 7.0 moving forward, kind of push for the idea of going through from 7.0 and then just automatically being able to get all the level ones
Yeah.
MSQ quests, for example, and do the side quests. That's interesting. I would think that that's probably something they would want to do, but what I think they will do a caveat because actually, uh, World of Warcraft did a similar thing where basically like you could skip the entire beginning story all the way up to the current expansion if you've gone through it on one character once.
Mm-hmm.
And then on your alts, you automatically could go into the new expansion to level up,
Yeah.
like because you've
I'll
already
put
done it.
option into the factor of doing what they said over that you guys just said in Warcraft. If you have a character that's gone through everything already,
Yep.
you can opt in just to start the story level 1 at
Yep.
the brand new content, because you don't want to have to go back and sit through endless hours of the same stuff.
Yeah, and I think that would be an interesting way to do this, especially for a lot of us who have alts. I mean, it would be amazing for us to go through the story, but now with New Game Plus, we can,
Yeah.
right? So even if you skip to the 7.0, you can still go back and do all the old MSQ if you really want to. So that would, I think that would be a good way to bring people in as well as giving them the option to do that. But I do think if you're like a new account, for example, I think you should still go through the MSQ, and this is more of like an alt friendly type of quality of life.
Yeah. So going on to Traveling Island Sanctuary, you can travel through by speaking to Baldin in Lower Lost No Shot. Classes and jobs, while it's able to craft and gather on the Island Sanctuary, you're not required to unlock Disciple Hands and Lands to do so because everything is separate.
Yep. Thank
Housing
you.
housing items you cannot use because Island Sanctuary has its own shit.
You know what
The
this
basic
tells
way
me?
to fucking put it.
You know
What's
what?
up?
You know what? One of the things that I got from this is it now tells me that 14 doesn't have to be just a normal MSQ, MMO, endgame rating and stuff. You can build a whole system like this
Yeah.
that has its own separate inventory, its own separate systems. They did this with Boscha, they did this with Eureka, where you can have an entire game essentially within 14. Like you can tell that this is coming from the success of Animal Crossing. That's where a lot of this came from.
Yeah, but then
And
again, it's more or less not coming directly from Animal Crossing.
right,
You could say more of inspired, because a lot of the
inspired.
stuff is more or less because now 14 is its own has been its own beast for years now. Everything that comes in is more of an inspiration,
Yep.
because yeah, you can say it's a copy and paste system, but because what originally people also said in the background too is that, and we can cover this in another video too, that 14 was just another WoW copy, but it became its own beast. It's one of the top MMOs to play. I mean,
I would even say it's copy and paste. I think just like you said, it's a they take what the industry is doing, like the overall game industry, and they're like, okay, this game has done really well for itself. How can we make a Final Fantasy type version of this, an inspired version? And I think to go from something that was so big in 2020, like for Animal Crossing, into Alphabet Island Sanctuary now, it's so unique, and especially when they showed it off, it is so cool to see that they inspired by it, but they made it so that it's like a 14 game in and of itself
yeah,
and an entirely new expansion. And it's just I want them to continue doing stuff like this because it's just like this is amazing
yeah, and
that
especially for
they
the
pulled
factor
this
too
off.
that everything is separate. Even
Yep.
your quest that you, because they have quests inside the island. That's what they're showing right here. Gather mode is enabled. You need to complete this stuff to get to the next part, which you have your, which they have. Your island has its own ranking and everything
Hmm.
else. Sanctuary rank. You gather materials, your modes, and how influence you interact with your feet with features and creatures on your island. Then you also got the main menu. Uh, confirm your access in available currencies because you unlock specific currencies once you reach a certain point.
You know what the interesting thing as well is what caught my eye is if you look at the construction. I don't know if you're looking at that as well, the different menus and stuff, but one of the things that caught my eye was the construction menu. Notice that it says Cozy Cabin 1,
Yeah.
and there's an actual sub viewer that says built 0 out of 1,
Mm-hmm.
which makes me think, okay, so it's not like you build the buildings once, you can build multiples and based on whatever you want to do. So I'm like curious to see like later on how unique can you build your islands if it's not like, for example, oh, this plot is a cabin and you're like, no, I don't want it to be a cabin, I want it to be a different building. I don't want to say what the other buildings are yet because there are a lot we can go through, but
Yeah.
it's just cool
Because
that there can
you
be
can
variety.
capture animals to live on your pasture. You can grow and create crops. People were saying about the fact of helping out the crossbreeding. This stuff is going to be different from the crossbreeding, and especially
Mhm.
everything that you grow and make on your island is going to have its own separate market completely.
Right.
And when they were teasing us with it, and the size of the rugged and shit post that they did, they said you can release one minion, but no, we can release up to 40 minions. Unleash the beast!
Which I'll be honest, 40 when you saw the size of what we have at the beginning here for the first part of the island expand. I mean, I'm literally calling it the island expansion. That's literally what
Yeah.
it is. It's an island expansion. Uh 40 it seems like a lot, but I think like for the size and where you could put the minions, it looks like that's good enough size for this piece alone. I don't know if 40 is a good number for when you get to like let's say the other parts of
The
the
other
island where
parts, so
that's
when they
yeah.
released the full on island, because they said the full on island sanctuary will be released by the time the 7.0 comes out.
Yeah.
We're getting sections at a time. And remember seeing the island shape, we were at the little southwest, we were at the little
Yeah.
southeast corner of this big U-shaped island. And this thing is going to be huge. It's already huge enough
Yeah.
because I've seen previews from even just showing in the previews of the trailer.
Yeah.
It's
It
just like,
is if you
oh,
so I saw they spent 30 minutes, right, in the live letter going through all the different menus and different systems and how it's actually and even then half the stuff that's in the patch notes weren't even shown. So to
yeah.
see that stuff here was
Because
actually
I
a
mean, you
surprise
get
for
the
me.
facilities, you have cozy cabin, the
Yeah.
workshop, granary. That's just a few of the ones that they showed. And then they also go into the factor of leaving your island sanctuary. You can use a teleport return, and everything else. And you can also visit your friends' islands and go help them
Hmm.
out too. And you can
Oh,
also, what's up?
one of the things I wanted to mention, if you go back to the facilities, one thing in particular, uh, they made this as a very big snippet, everyone. So when you go through the island sanctuary, one of the big things they said was eventually you get to a high enough rank, you could have workers basically do everything for you.
Mhm.
And now in the patch notes, we're starting to see that play out with the granary and the workshop sections because we never saw this before. But from the looks of it, it seems like they're taking the retainer system to a whole new
A whole
level.
new level. Yeah, because
Yeah,
I'm just reading it here. The granary. After constructing the granary, you may send a team to exploratory mammoths on foraging expedition to gather materials. Uh, and
returning
then
once per day.
also with the workshop provides a place for the mammoths and you're employed to create handicrafts out of the materials you obtain on your island. So I mean, this is basically you can just set off and have a more of retainer ventures, but this be the
Yep.
mammoths and completely separate from what you actually pick up. So
And it doesn't
I
use a currency, I don't think.
no,
At least
not from
from
what
here,
I
we
was
don't know.
reading, but we'll find out more
Yeah.
when we actually get in there and play. I mean, I might have to do a whole entire damn stream on the factor of me going in saying, "This is Island Sanctuary. I am never leaving here."
Well, you want to talk about the one point about that everyone I think will be excited about that they mentioned in the live letter? I'll just say this: Yoshi P did say you can queue for Duty Finder and duties from your island.
Yeah. Yeah, and you can also ban people from your island, invite certain people, and who you want to be your favorite person to come in. you can put at the top of your island. And after reaching a you can grant others access to your islands, be it friends, free company members, party members. So they're putting a whole lot of stuff in Island Sanctuary, and I'm looking forward to playing with it. If not on Tuesday, it'll be Wednesday. Because who knows? Then new objectives. Oh! They're adding stuff for putting stuff in for Island Sanctuary in the challenge log.
Yep. Which makes me think
I overlooked
gather a certain
that.
amount of stuff, gather a certain amount of stuff, plant a certain amount of seeds, harvest a certain amount of plants.
And you either get
and crops.
currencies and experience or even currencies in both for your Island Sanctuary. So, yeah.
But here's the other thing too, is that when they showed off, there is like a few good there's some glamours, there's going to be some minions, and also a few mounts from this. But what's interesting that they said was they wanted to give people another way to, for example, who do crafting and gathering, another way to get materials.
Yeah.
So vendor on your island now will also accept your island scripts and currencies for different 9 and 10 grade crafting and gathering scripts.
Yep. Continuing on from going from Island Sanctuary, we're going into the newer stuff that they've been adding in. Like, for example, Estinian's ponytail hairstyle coming up for the male characters. They had also new hairstyles added in for male and female Vieras. Adding more fun than that, which is great because it gives more options and say bye-bye to the people that do illegal stuff, which we don't talk about that. So, yeah. They're actually going to be showing more ears of the hairless, of the earless Hrothgar. Hairstyles for the Hrothgar have been added in 6.1 have been adjusted to show their ears. So, you can actually go in Fantasia to the new hairstyle and everything else. And my internet completely crapped the fuck out.
Oh, no, I see you now. You were back.
Okay. Testing 1, 2. Can you hear me all right?
Yep, now I can hear you.
Mid-recording of this, and it just goes poof. So, yeah, we got the new hairstyles coming in for the Estinian hairstyle. So, sorry for the people in the recording. Yeah, my internet and router sucks. So,
that's all right.
New hairstyles have been added for the male and female Vieras. And they're also showing the ears, finally, of good old. Let me go ahead and just. And. Whatever. I'm just going to leave Discord floating right there. The duty support system from the duty support. New duties have been added. Snowcloak, Keeper of the Lake. Heaven's Ward. Summon All, the Area, and the Vault. The main 3 instances in that. You also have adjustments to Allied duty support. Now speak at certain points in the following duties. Natasha, all the AAR ones. So yeah, you're gonna have.
This makes me happy that is this the whole the bubble text that pops up we got when Endwalker is now popping up in these dungeons. Yeah, I like that they're adding this stuff in now, so it's all completely synced together and just
and plus experience. Also, so you actually get people talk. You actually get them doing reactions instead of going ha ho ooh ee ooh yeah ha ooh ooh. Apparently they're adding more stuff to Wondrous Tales.
Yes, that bird
to the gold certificate and whatnot. So you get the new birdie on where the hell is it? Turn off this capture because Discord's fucking up. On Fox Hollows, which actually, or I thought this was going to be linked to, where the minion, I thought the flying squirrel is going to be linked to Island Sanctuaries. I was wrong. Yeah. It's going to be released for the Fox Leaves, which is okay. So that's probably just something I buy later on down the road.
Yeah.
Characters' portraits have been implemented for the battle dialogue during instance quests from the point series.
Oh, this is what I meant to say. Okay, it's not what I was saying above for that. It's actually tied to the single instances in Stormblood. Yeah.
Yeah,
So they even say here that they plan to add it to future updates to
future
previous
updates. Yeah,
expansions. So I think that's going to probably come by 7.0. It'll be all the way back to uh ARR probably by
new
then.
emotes have been added, which are actually going further, a little farther down. You can actually see it's a team spirit emote. Shows off your team spirit, so you're cheering on your team and whatnot with this emote
Yep.
for the actual text. So it's going to be /spirit. And also using the draw emote while your weapon is sheathed will allow you to maintain the weapon drawn pose instead of you pulling it out and then it puts it right back in, depending on how long you have that auto weapon draw and
So if
sheathing goes
you're
in.
so if you're a machinist and you're dressed as a cowboy, could you essentially say that that's a way of doing the same draw mechanic from Red Dead Redemption?
Possibly. Yeah, possibly. So now digging into the battle system, descriptions of certain actions and status effects have been adjusted. The following adjustments have been made to the action trait windows, where you can toggle the display button to the bottom right window, where you can either have the compact view, where you actually show where the gets replaced with the new abilities depending on your level.
I like
Um,
this.
yeah,
I really do. I think that for a lot of people, and I mean, I've tried other action MMOs, like for example BDO and stuff, and the way they do their skill trees and stuff are like that. They're in a simple action tree like this, which makes it very easy for you to be like, okay, this is how this ties to this. Like, I get you should always read the tooltips. Always read the tooltips. Always, always, always.
yeah,
But I think also as a visual, like when people are setting up their hotbars and everything, I think this is a good way for them to see, like, okay, this is how this leads into this. And I just think it's a great is when you're starting out with a class and you never played it, you can read the tooltips. Like I've read tooltips for other classes like Samurai, and I still don't know how the hell that even plays, even after read the tooltips and trying to put it on my hotbar. So this is a very helpful thing for me to understand how to play other classes that I haven't tried yet.
yeah. And speaking about that, going into the recast timer displayed in the middle of action can now
Thank
be
you.
enlarged.
Thank you. We need like a
And you can also
celebration.
change its position too, either being centered or in the bottom left.
We need to have that celebrate good times come on song to play right now because it's like
Celebrate good times. Come on.
how long has it been of us trying to read the stupid countdown timer in the corner that is about size 3 font all these
Yeah.
years? And yeah, you can finally, guys, be able to read your cooldowns and read the timers.
Yeah. HP restoration over time will no longer generate enmity with each tick of healing. That'd be great. That actually is
Yeah,
pretty damn nice because of the factor that you're a white mage. You pull up regen on your tank. The tank runs in, doesn't do an ability for a couple seconds because they're waiting for things and everything, and then the tank, me especially, has to run after the healer because the healer's still in the back of the party.
me as a paladin, I've witnessed that a couple of times in the Shadowbringers dungeons where that's been the case, and I had to do that. And so this is a welcome change.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Mm-hmm.
this is a very good thing. I don't have to worry about trying to do shield lobs back,
But
trying to get them.
going into Joe Cat's videos is the you have to be a healer video that I have reaction to. Where he says that you being a healer, you have to stick to your main tank. If you put a pre-heal out, just like an ERPer sticks to Vera with 2B thigh highs. But yeah, while under the effect that increases critical chance, canceling a critical hit or direct hit. These actions guaranteed land of a critical hit or direct hit because they are changing that system with the critical and direct hit and how that applies. When executing actions that guarantee the land of critical or direct hit, now will deal increased base damage on the direct hit and critical rate attributes. The following enemies in adjusted have been adjusted: Madonna and Lamentorian, the Moon and Moradona. The new dungeon. Looking forward to this. the eagle of ugly faces and everything else, and I still want that. I still want that castle as like a main city hub or something similar to that. So yay!
I do too. I actually am thinking like this is a very dark type of turn of events in the storyline, but you know what? It feels so good for them to go a whole different direction with the dungeon, the aesthetic of it, Pandemonium as well.
Mhm.
It's very much going in this different type of vibe. Something we had very similar when we played Shadowbringers, but I feel like now it's actually on a grander scale, and I think it's going to pay off doing a different type of theme here in the Final Fantasy 14 franchise. And even Yoshi P said in an interview that really he wants to make changes to the 14 series, but also with 14 doing things different than the norm.
Well,
And
and also that now since the story that has been started back way back in 1.0 is basically
yep,
finished. So
yep,
where they're taking over in the next 10 years is basically their brand new scratch story.
yep.
And yeah, they're still finishing some up within these these point patches, but now we have the option of traveling into other shards, especially
And
with
it's
us going
also
to the 13th.
you're absolutely right. And the other thing is in that because it is their own story and everything now moving forward, now is the time to take these types of risks.
Yeah.
And that's the fruits of the labor as far as with the trailer and stuff, and what you see there is not your typical the 14 story we've been used to up to this point, but I think it will probably pay off. We'll see when we play it on Tuesday, the MSQ and everything else, to go through it. But I feel like, if we have a discussion afterwards and discuss what we our thoughts were of the patch, I'm probably gonna say that it's probably something I've been looking forward to, and it's something that 14 needed, which was to take these types of risk, and it paid off.
Yeah. Adjustment item level sinks to Spartan, Sigma Dreamscape, and Alzal Legacy is going to be set to 600. Then we
Yep.
don't know about what's going on with the new trial that's going to be in with the MSQ, which also is going to have its own its
Extreme,
expertise,
yeah.
extreme version. You also get the releasement of Sephiroth, Suffy, Extreme, Unreal. So if you don't know the
I'm not
fight,
looking forward. I
yeah.
am not looking forward to that.
If you don't know
Oh.
the fight, synced, go do it.
No, I mean like the extreme alone. The extreme alone was a
Is a
bitch and
bitch
a
and a
half.
half. Even still,
Yeah.
unsynced, it's still somewhat of a bitch and a half. But you can still somewhat cheese it if your
Yeah.
DPS is fast enough and your comp is right. But yeah, it still was a bitch back in Shadowbringers trying to do that one because you still had to bring a balance of 8 people
8
to
people. Yep.
balance out the orange and green tethers.
Green tethers. Yep. So
Fantastic which is brings out the new quest for it to unlock them. Pandemonium has been added. Also, links drop rate for the Eternal Darkness flute and links have been increased. So your increasement of Heidelin and also Zodiac's mounts have been increased. Plus, also
yep.
you get the 99 totems coming out finally. If you haven't found up your 99 totems, have fun. Um, New dungeons for Pandemonium coming out. The new trials. Looking forward to those fights. Which they're going to
Yeah,
be. Nope, go
like I
ahead.
said, it seems more of a Bloodborne vibe here with the types of things I'm seeing here for the different bosses. It's like, especially this one here is very much like a Poison Ivy type of vibe. I talked to a few people earlier when we saw the trailer, and they were like, "I get Poison Ivy vibes from this character here."
Yeah.
Like, it's just unique, and I think it was like when we first did the Pandemonium for the first four, we got some unique type of bosses. And I think now they're like, okay, you guys like that? We're gonna go even more crazy this time around. And it's like, you see that, you see the cover art for the trailer of La Habrea going in complete madness. I'm just like, yeah, they've gone completely mad on the dev team now, and they're just gonna make completely, literally insane, quote unquote, and just to use your phrase, literally insane bosses.
Yeah, literally insane. Oh, then we also got the following adjustments to the Raid Finder, which
Yep.
is the Unreal Trials and the Savage versions, and also to the Duty Finder, Ensinger's Aura, Savage of the first P4 of the first P4s, 1 through 4. Players will also now receive the Echo in the event of all party members are incapacitated during the following trials, Ensinger's Aura, making that fight a little bit easier. But the you're also still going to have the option to silence the Echo within the party finders before you go in. Following adjustments have been made to Agala. The weekly restrictions have been removed. So if you got to catch up in gear, go right ahead. Because a lot of this stuff, your minimum level has got to be 600 to get into. So that'll be great to catch up with. Now, they're also doing that. Weekly restrictions to Dragon Song's Totems have been removed.
That's actually surprising.
Because Dragon Song Ultimate, it's completely because to do the end, they're getting ready for the next. They're going to be getting ready for the next Ultimate too. So
I was figuring that's probably why. It was because they planned another one.
because they were talking about trying to make up for the lack of Ultimate, only having one Ultimate last expansion, and they wanted to try to push out more because hell, in Shadowbringers you had 2 Ultimates, you had Uwu and Ukab. Then last expansion you only, because the factor of COVID, you only had Alexander. So they bring out this one, and then they're going to possibly bring in another one, which is going to be awesome. It's going to be great. Which one's going to be? We'll find out. And Gladiator's Armor and Shields yielded by treasure cards now appear as a set item, which is great because they changed with some of the stuff that it's a set item in purchasing previous tokens, tombstones. So that's a great change right there. New totems have been released. Casualty. Which
So that's an interesting name for it to have causality. It's like
causality, Aphorism is going to be removed, so cap out your aphorisms because that's free astronomy later on. Help you catch up to that 600 gear score.
Yep.
The duties of the individual expert has been changed as follows. Meaning we're going to be having 2. You're going to have level 90, and then you're going to have the experts. So Dead End, Smileton, and Sigma Dreamscape is being removed, and they're just going to have Azal's Legacy and the Felt Court of Trioa in there. So we're going to be seeing the 2 queues for level 90 dungeons again. Yay! And the average arrival required to register for DD Roulette Expert has been adjusted from 560 to 575. So have fun.
Can we just say they added so many different roulettes and eventually this is going to get very insane? Because like how we have the 50, 60, 70, 80, and
I won't
now
be
they have the level
surprised.
90.
I won't be surprised that in next expansion, if we see a split between the 50 to 80, which is now 50 to 80, if you have 50 to 70 and then 80 to 90 to starting off with another roulette to go into with coming in 7.0, because it's going to be, people are going to say, okay, so this is going to be where 3 expansions down the road and we're queuing up for dungeons 50 through 110. That's a lot of duties to have in one single roulette. I mean, you get a lot of that within the factor of leveling roulette, but you're going to want the ones that people have probably never seen for years to come. And like, we don't know what this one does anymore.
I'm like, I like the fact that, we have 90 roulette now. And eventually that's going to go into the other roulette though. And it's like, oh no.
Yeah.
2-3 expansions down the line, you're right. It's going to be kind of insane. You'll have like 5 expansions altogether.
Yeah, we got the number of changes to the totems within each one, especially also for the factor of fighting off. If you're people that don't really do the roulettes and you rather do the hunts, you have more totems coming from those and adjustments to those. we're just going to go through here because we are at an hour, over an hour. Adjustments have been trade to and following instant dungeons and trials, where they again showed up with sets with certain bosses, and also going into the Petro the trial system that the Yeti bosses and Snow Club, Keeper of the Lake, everything has been adjusted so it's easier for people to solo play on. And we got display of target indicators and mechanics have been adjusted to following duties, which some all Vault, Never Reap, World Darkness, Leaping City, and Mock, Unscathed. And here it is. We were talking about this earlier. The Trial of Step of Faith has been removed and replaced with the instant solo battle. Mm-hmm. Now, time for the PvP. Let's go.
Yeah.
Which we had last series, and if you haven't finished it, last series, and you haven't finished it yet, please do so, because you will not be able to get the coffer any fucking more. Because they are not putting an NPC as most people thought. One of them being my good friend Assassin here. He thought that they were going to put an NPC in here, and I said, yeah, might as well get the grind done while you fucking can, because they most likely won't. I was right, motherfucker. Fuck you.
Yeah, I'm at 24 right now. I'll finish it up today to get to 25 to get the armor. But I told my friends, I was like, guys, I don't know if there's going to be an NPC. You should grind it out this weekend, because, and sure enough, though, it's a good thing they brought this out early to let us know, because now we know there isn't an NPC. It is merely just going to be a previous redeemable series button, and you can just click to redeem if you haven't done it yet. But yeah, so there is no way to use trophy crystals, unfortunately, like a lot of us thought, to purchase the previous rewards. So yeah, definitely get to 25 if you want to get that armor.
Yeah, which the new 25 rank is going to be a new dragon mount. Yay!
Yep. And if you look below, it actually has the series 2 there, and it looks like from that image I saw earlier,
it looks like it has two minions in there.
Yeah, 15, 16, and then 5 is a emote, it looks like.
Yeah. Because we had an emote, then we also had the we had the spectacles from last.
Yeah.
So, and they're also implementing what it looks like within the series collection window too, but it's going to be a little more brighter. So yeah, that's thankfully a great thing. And they're also going to be doing improvements to Crystalline Conflict. With if a person's dead, you can see how long they're going to be dead for, and you can just rub it in their faces. You still got 20 seconds before you back up. If you have to die if you die that long, if the match lasts that long, sorry for you. But
now here's a question I have on that: is this for your own party, or can I see the opponent's timers as well?
Don't know. It just says will now appear on the party list. So
yeah,
if you go and just something to see when it goes live, because I'll be doing the spamming of Crystalline Conflict to get that 25 as soon as possible, because I want that mount. And so I can go and say, I don't have to worry about this anymore. Players can now view adventure plates on the opposing team by selecting the opponent's list into the adventure plate subcommand. Adjustments have been made to the quick chat, executing limit break, and everyone group up. So that's actually a good thing, because they didn't have the everyone group up thing before.
The only one they had was fall back and
regroup.
Yeah.
Not saying, hey, everyone group up.
Right.
I don't really care about the rating system, but players who lose a match down in 5 with zero rising stars will now be demoted to Platinum 1 with 2 rising stars. So actually, they are going to kick in. You're going to get demoted fully. So
yeah, they're implementing that system now for at least only the 2 top ranks. So it's only for those, luckily, but I can see it going to the other ones as well at some point.
Yeah, because it makes it a little bit harder for people to stay up at the top list, especially for the factor that the people that bitched and said, oh, the rewards suck with the ranking system. Well, we're going to give better rewards for the ranking system. And it's like they said they don't really want to lock down to people saying that they have to do the rankings. But people that do the rankings and no life it complain about not getting good rewards for it. So we'll see how that goes. Um, oh, the algorithm to prevent manipulation of matchmaking. The matching system algorithm has been adjusted, so probably no longer counting down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, Q, and you end up with the same people all on your same team.
Do you think that's actually what that is, or do you think it's
Possibly.
actually I don't know if it was if somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but could you queue for other classes and then switch in the middle of it? I don't think you
No,
could.
no,
So
no. When
so
you go in with the class that you were in, you're locked in on that. Meaning that the manipulation of matchmaking, saying if you're running a team of 5, because of the fact that they don't right now have the pre-made teams enabled in Crystalline Conflict, even though the option's still there, you can still technically make a pre-made team, but you could also end up having your team split up on both sides. But you just literally, because we've done it before with you, me and I'll have, and a couple other people, where we literally sat there and counted 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, Q. And if everyone's Q popped, we're all either on the same team or we're all in the same match. So that's probably going
that
to be
sucks.
changing
That
up the
actually,
algorithm right there.
yeah, that actually is something I wish they didn't do because I, for one, love doing Crystalline Conflict. It's one of my favorite modes, but it's like I want to be able to do it with friends and just be able to do that. And this was a great way to do that because I did it last night, literally,
Yeah.
to help my friends level. We just did it together and just counted down and did it. Sometimes we were together, sometimes we were against each other, but it was fun. Um, if that's what this is, it's a little bit upsetting, but it is what it is. They do want to make it kind of random,
Yeah.
so I
Uh,
get it makes sense.
and also to prevent the manipulating matchmaking, ranked match penalty has been installed.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I
you can, because with casual, you get the duty penalty finder, but apparently, and I was surprised about seeing this, that they didn't get a
no,
penalty from withdrawing from a match on
no.
ranked. So it's surprising that they're actually putting this in now. And actually, I'm glad for it because
Yep.
you can do a rank, you can do a rank before apparently, and not get penalized for it.
Yes.
What the
So
hell?
what would happen? I would queue for ranks, and I'm not even joking about this. You could wait less than 5 minutes to do it, but the problem is, I would then have to deal with 5, 6, 7 re-rank queues because somebody withdrew.
Yeah,
And that would happen so many times. So the fact that they even say here, a penalty will record just the first time you do it. So just when you withdraw for the first time, you automatically get it. It's not like after multiple times. No,
mm-hmm.
it's the first time, and it increases in the penalty every time.
Yeah,
Thank you.
and
That's
30 minutes, then 90, then 180. I mean, you'll be sitting out for two
jeez, 3 hours.
hours, three
Three.
hours, 3 hours. Yeah, 3 hours.
That's
And
that's a big
that's
penalty.
incurring for the even the regular duty finder. So you just might as well go ahead and log and go play a different game.
I
uh
mean, yeah, but yeah.
Season 3 begins. That's
Yep.
as usual. Does each half cycle and start of a new cycle patch. Always brings out a new season. Um and players receive portraits, achievements, titles for all their tiers, and ranks up to according to the final standings at the end of the season. Crystalline Conflict ranking page for lodestone of bronze, silver, gold, platinum, and diamond tiers will now be sorted by victories. Rival Wings comes back! Yay! Trying to
Yay,
work
I
on
don't
this,
know anything
but
about rival rings.
yeah, I don't either. But apparently, they've increased the mount speeds, damage modifiers with every single specific role, specific classes, most likely for melee, and some of them even for ranged and
Is,
whatnot.
is
Um,
this easier to do than Frontlines? I've never done Rival Wings ever, so
it was confusing. I've only done it once,
yeah.
but it's be interesting to see going back in there because there are mounts and stuff tied to uh there are
Oh,
mounts and stuff tied to achievements within Rival Wings, so that's why they're bringing it back because
okay.
people want to start doing those grinds again, and especially with all the changes, they disabled it because of all the factor of they want people to get used to how they change stuff for Crystalline Conflict and Frontline. So now they're bringing out
Yeah.
Rival Wings again.
Okay.
The new glowy armor for
Yay.
the rating, which is it going to be just for the Savage is going to be glowing, or is it going to be the normal? We'll find out.
No one knows.
No
I
one
would say
knows.
I think the one thing though for sure is I know the weapons are always tied to Savage, and my friend told me that it's
Yeah.
always the weapons. But the gear though is usually shared, and usually the one you get in Savage is like a dyeable version, for example,
Mm-hmm.
versus the normal. So I'm wondering, like, for my caster, for my summoner, I look at this and I'm like, this is amazing gear. Like the art team went all out this time around, and I love it. And I showed it to Rum and Coke, right? So I
Yeah.
I showed him this picture. He was like, "Are we implementing the old style, if you remember, of tier set armor sets in this type of style? Because it's like the visual effects per gear is different. So for
Mm-hmm.
every class, like it's a different type of style and visual effect." And I'm like, I look at my casting gear, even though that's a black mage there, and I'm saying to myself, man, I want that gear so badly now. Because I usually glam over the armor sets. I don't like looking at the armor sets. I use glamour instead,
Yeah.
but I will not glamour over that because that to me for a caster is better than the Bone Wicca.
Yeah, what I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with the tank one, because usually the tank one they're usually bulky and everything else, but seeing that they have one the cape on them and then also that ring of fire
Yep.
behind, because I'm looking at the one
Yep.
that's warrior.
Yep.
It'll be interesting to see how that is. Or even, well, also another question is too: if you do glamour over the set, do you still get the glowy effect? Probably not, but we'll see.
We'll see. Yeah. I
Um,
just think that they did a good job, and I want them to keep doing this.
And as well for crafters, you get the new crafting sets too to start off with the new raid gear, which you can make a lot of money on the first day, but then after that, everything
Yep.
goes poof. Uh,
Yep. Oh,
Players
here's the
can now
welcome
review the
change right here.
contents of certain coffers that yield multiple items when opened. And they showed an example here of the number two out, 2B's outfit.
That's a welcome change, to be honest. I
Yeah,
I will
another
say.
quality of life improvement, which is great.
Yep.
Um, and more items, regardless of gender. The Far Eastern Maiden's hat and the male stuff being equipped to female and female stuff, but usual stuff that comes up. Another big one. The capacity has been increased for glamour from 4 to 800.
There should be like a little asterisk after that that says, "This is only good for one patch, and it will come back a year from now, and we'll implement more." Meanwhile, people we know certain content creators as well, and other people that will get to that 800 in a day,
Yeah.
like, and then
Yeah.
they'll be complaining again. So it's like, okay, it's good for a day at least.
Oh, much nice. Very nice. Increased storage of crafter and gather scripts from
Yes.
2 to 4,000.
I posted that in my Discord, and I was like, guys, we have double the space of scripts now.
Yeah.
This is what makes me think now. How long until Tomes gets updated to
And they're
4?
also adding more stuff in for sky builders.
Yeah,
So,
makes you go back to
whoa.
that.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing is like, how long do we have until all the currencies will be upgraded to 4,000 like the Tomes?
Yeah, another quality of life change for crafters. So you don't have to go through. You get the special items, and master recipe books now have their own section.
Thank you.
Yes,
I
uh,
hate that every time I open that up, it always shows the master recipes at the top,
and
and
then
it's
you
just
have
a
to
long
scroll through
ass
the
list.
list or
Yep.
collapse the list and whatnot. But you still have to have individual collapse the list and whatnot.
Yep.
Um, I don't really do much of the collectibles, but they're putting more quality of life collectible improvements in. Um,
That's a new
and
collectible, actually.
yeah,
I'm collectibles. Okay.
yeah, because they're going to discover new prime collectibles with Gathering, which prime collectibles have released maximum collectability will, on occasion, become sublime collectibles when gathered. A higher gathering increases your chances of getting a primary collector. So basically, with the magic adding in more, raising up the cap, you can also get bonus for this, which is also told as into bonus experience, tone, scripts, and so on and so forth. But you have to have, apparently, the way I'm reading it, you have to reach the maximum capacity first before you actually
Nice.
get the chance of that. Which, when you hit the reduced prime collectibles, you have a higher chance of getting the special stuff.
That's cool. That's a cool thing to change to have.
And then the adjustment window has been we all seen that before. New mounts.
Yep.
How do you feel like running the Mandagoras?
I thought I was done with them back in Hildebrand with that one quest in ARR, but now I realize no, I'm gonna have to buy that, and especially like you saw me, I now have a Lullafell alt, and I'm like just sitting there, and I'm like, oh no, my Lullafell is gonna look like it's gonna fall off that Mandragora right there, holding on for dear life. And then you
How
have
do
the
you
Rogadin.
think I feel being an aura?
Look at the Rogadin. The Rogadin gives no fucks.
Uh-huh. For off guard's been basically almost the same damn way too.
Yeah, the Rogadin is
Following
just sitting there
adjustments
like,
haven't made
okay.
to the mount guides and the quality of life thing.
Yep.
From 25 to 30, maximum favorites 25 to 30, up to 6 mount actions can now be displayed at once while running a mount. So they're adding more stuff in for certain mounts, which is great.
Does any mount have more than 2 or 3 actions? Like,
I'm not sure, truthfully, but that could
yeah,
be a hint towards something else. That with like Island Sanctuary mounts, they might
yeah,
have different varieties.
multiple.
New barding has been added, which the way it looks like it's something to deal with Island Sanctuary, at least in my opinion.
Yep. Yeah,
New
I would say
minion,
so. That's Island Sanctuary as well, yeah.
yeah. Following adjustments have been made to the minion guide. Same thing.
Yep.
25 to 30, 30 increase for favorites as well. New accessories have been added. The tiniest wings. Very pixie wings.
I think that Pixie Wing right there might be one of the rewards from getting all the fates in Endwalker, possibly.
Possibly, yeah. And then now you can sing in the rain with Paracels.
That's exactly what I told my friend yesterday. I'm like, hey, we can now do Singing in the Rain musical number.
Uh-huh. Sit there and go, we're singing in the rain. We don't give two fucks. Singing in the rain. We don't give two fucks. So, adjustments have been added to the tankless jobs on adding in the new raids with the Unreals and also the new dungeon as well. The Unreal Savages and Normals. And the full release of the Adventurer plates. Just going to quickly go over this. Just be welcome for more new loot poses. Where they originally were also saying about, because I was reading through this, and I'm just going to scroll right through it real quick because of this factor of, we are at an hour and a half. And anyone that has made it to this point, congrats. Thank you for sticking around for so long and dealing with both our bullshits. And our random round talk table stuff. So we haven't been able to do this in what month?
Yep.
But yeah, they have new portraits coming in, reflect your current gear. Different plate designs added, a little more features of quality of life. Which you can also make a custom, unless it's completely separate. You can also edit your search comment if it's going to be separate from your actual one, or do one specifically for your adventure plate. That would be nice, but we'll find out come Tuesday. Official portraits have been released, so get your loot poses ready, or actually re-ready, because what they originally were saying that they were going to wipe the portraits, they're actually not going to wipe them, the ones that you made before, but they will put a notification out that portraits that have been edited prior to 6.2, so they're going to actually make you go back and update it to 6.2 instead of being just in the beta.
It. Yeah, you have to resave them.
And then you can also now, another quality of life thing, what people have been asking for years, so they don't have to level up Omnicrafting, even though just go discard and permanent level up Omnicrafting right there. Easy, just get to level 20, boom, boom, boom. But you can also now make requests for people that are in your party or friends to repair your gear for you.
Yep.
So that's a great thing. Is at first with the introductory system of requesting materia melds. Now they're also doing it with requesting a factor of, and actually you can make money off of it too. I'm looking at as we're going over here. You can say, okay, I'll repair your gear for you for a price.
I'll repay your gear for 1,000,000 gil. There you go, guys.
Gil
I won't
cap,
do it for any less.
Gil cap, please. So
that's great.
currency window has made following adjustments have been made to the currency window. In order, the currencies to show the HUD can now be adjusted via the arrow currency window setting. An option to select default currency displayed on the HUD has been added, which is great and wonderful. So you can show on your main window when it pops up, because you usually have to go and pop to the other tabs. You can actually go and say, I want to show my guild, my NGP, my tomes, everything right on the main window. That would be nice.
Yep.
Explorer modes, getting more dungeons put in there. Yay, which is all for basically most of AAR ones, hard versions, because they're the different dungeons. Then you also got the new dungeon from Felcourt Triola.
So it means like probably in the next patch, all the dungeons will have Explorer mode.
Yeah.
Next patch.
Time to go screenshot dive hunting, and also for ERPers, if they want to go screw around and cover mines and screw around and paint the walls different colors, go right ahead. We'll just go with that. Fuck right. And then what I'm just gonna skip ahead a little bit here too. While we were talking about earlier, improvement of the color blindness.
Yeah.
With the markers on the map, especially darkening the circles for people to make it easier to see, which is great. I love that they added the feature.
Yep.
Back in, it was last expansion when they first implemented it, and they're just further on improving it. And especially this is getting into a factor of them doing the graphical updates coming on in 7.0,
Yep.
and slowly implementing the stuff. That way, just like with this patch, they probably prep some stuff so the patch isn't going to be down for the full 24 hours. It's going to be small things.
There's a small thing if you go, we'll get into it in a second here because it's right below this.
Yeah,
about
and
that,
I was
actually.
scrolling right to it.
Yep.
Following features have been implemented to improve graphic processing, the GPO, graphic processing optimization, frame rate while under a higher GPU load has been improved.
Yep. So in the case that you're in Limsa and it's crowded and your frames drop, well, now you can start this up, and when you use this, it will lower the graphical quality, obviously, because you're in a heavy load, but it will make it so that you'll have that constantly 60 frames and being able to keep that performance through. So that's a good thing about that.
Yeah.
Great feature.
Yeah. Then we also got following options have been added to the character configuration menu. Enable dynamic resolution. Then you also got the following character configuration menu. Hotbar settings display recast timers bottom left and centered. And they also show and remind you for controller people. They're giving you options of what buttons will press to change up your scrolling speeds, or if you want to pause the text through the credits.
Which is a great feature, actually, because most people are like, do I do anything, or what do I do? And now it can show you, like, in the corner, oh, you can stop it, you can do this, you can completely skip, or
you can just completely hide out the text completely, which I did that for when I cleared out Yuki's story.
You can. So when you're going through the credits and they show like the images and stuff, you can actually just hide it and take screenshots of. Oh, that is great.
Yeah, they had that stuff before, because I did that with some of the stuff with Yuki. I turned off the rolling credits so I could get textless screenshots. Steam overlay will now appear when loading the game via Steam. So you can also go and disable the Steam overlay and change the keybind for the Steam overlay, so you can go and poof up and see what your quick friends list is, whatever, because they always have that option there. New trophies have been added for PlayStation 5. New music, sound effects, and voices have been added. Additional additions to have made to the auto translation dictionary, in which here we were talking about this a little bit earlier with the new emote. Spirit, show off your team spirit.
Yeah.
So that's our new emote that's coming out. It's going to be showing off your team spirit. Ha ha ha! Yay! Just thankfully we don't get pom poms. And with that, we have made it to the bottom of the list. Yeah, I know we scrolled through the last half of it instead of going over every single detail, but it's a lot of information. And this is the preliminary patch notes. If you've made it this far, thank you for sticking around so much. Make sure to hit the like and subscribe button down below for my future videos that are coming out. I also do want to say a big thank you to my good friend Assassin here for hanging out and doing a little roundtable with me on going over these.
No, thank you for having me, honestly. And I will say this has got to be, honestly, just enjoy the patch, guys. There is so much content here, and this is only the preliminary. There's going to be more changes coming when the complete one comes out on Monday. Right before the patch, we'll get the full one. And I'm pretty sure that's the rule is going to make another video to cover those changes as well. But guys, trust me, there is a lot in this patch for anyone. If you don't want to do rating, there's Island Sanctuary. If you don't want to do Island Sanctuary, you have rating, you have MSQ, you have PvP. There's so many things here that you guys can go and do. And it's just a great time to be in this game. It's a great time to experience everything that the team has been working on at Business Development 3.
Yeah. If rating's not your thing, you got like Assassin said, you got Island Sanctuary. You got people to hang out, chill out with, which we're always in our Discords. Like I said, I'll go ahead, drop a link down here to Assassin's stuff, which along with my own. So please give us a follow, like, subscribe, and join our Discords and come out and hang out with us and chill out. So until next time, let's go ahead and watch the trailer once more as I'm playing it already. And enjoy and the wait now for 3 days remain. Actually, 4 days remain till the patch is now live.
It's another death they want. I say we give it to them.
That is mine!
I, the crystal, which showed the way to Meteon. And who better to bear Heideling's gift than her chosen champion?
I am here. Finally here. And I will find you, sister.
You're not the only ones who can ride the wind.
Then go and impress upon these interlopers the futility of defiance.
I shall see my wish fulfilled. Let seep sorrow into your heart. Rest eternal in the dark depths of this prison.
Oh, so looking forward to Tuesday. Again, I want to thank everyone for watching. If you haven't made it to this point of the video, thank you very much. We will see everyone next time in my next video. Adios. Keep insane, my friends.